Hey everybody, welcome back. All right, we got 20 questions that you must know to be able to get through your real estate examinations, and those are coming up next. Question number 1. Which type of property ownership is only available to married couples and has the right of survivorship? Letter A, tenancy in common. Letter B, tenants by the entirety. Letter C, fee simple estate. Letter D, joint tenancy. And the answer is letter B, tenancy by the entirety. So these are the different types of co-ownership. And co-ownership are items that will definitely be on exams. So you want to know the basic ones. Now, in some states, you will be a community property state, and in some states, you're going to be a tenancy by the entirety state for married folks. And you want to know the definitions. You're going to see tenants in common. You're going to see tenants by the entirety. You're going to see joint tenancy, and then you're going to see community property. And you want to know the definitions of all of them. You also want to go through charts and try to remember which one has the right of survivorship versus which one does not have the right of survivorship. So remember, survivorship simply means that the surviving co-owner gets the entire property upon the death, for example, of the other co-tenant. So in tenancy by the entirety, this form of co-ownership is reserved for married couples. And married couples once titled, and where does it say this? All of these words show up in the deed. So in the deed, they look at the deed and it says, spouse and spouse as tenants by the entirety. And once it says something like that, then they have the right of survivorship. So if one spouse passes away, then the other spouse becomes the automatic owner of the property. And so that's an important issue with titling. No right of survivorship means that it goes to whomever you wish in your estate. So however your estate is set up, that's what no right of survivorship means. So you want to know these for sure. Married couples, tenancy by the entirety. Entirety means one. So the concept here is that a married couple isn't considered two people. They're considered one entity that owns the property 100%. Okay, tenants by the entirety. Great question to start you off. Let's get on to the next one. Question number 2. What is the difference between a freehold estate and a non-freehold estate? Letter A. In a freehold estate, you own both the land and the property. In a non-freehold estate, you have the right to use the land and property but do not own it. Letter B. In a freehold estate, you own both the land and the property. In a non-freehold estate, you only own the land. Letter C. A freehold estate has a time limit, and a non-freehold estate is permanent. Letter D. The owner of a freehold estate can terminate the terms of a non-freehold estate at any time. And the answer is letter A. In a freehold estate, you own both the land and the property. In a non-freehold estate, you have the right to use the land and the property, but do not own it. So another secret phrase for freehold versus non-freehold, in a non-freehold estate is also known as a leasehold estate. So if you go back now and read that definition and then check out that it can be substituted out for a leasehold estate versus a non-freehold estate, then you'll understand it maybe a little bit better to understand that they're the same thing. Non-freehold estates are leasehold estates, and they go from there. Now, in many of your courses, you will learn about things like the interests in real property. When I teach, I do go through those and I make them very, very clear, because once you understand sort of where they all sit inside of this world, then you can kind of easily go, okay, that's non-freehold, that's freehold. These are the different types. Freehold estates have fee simple, non-freehold estates have leasehold estates, tenant at sufferance, tenant for the years, tenant from period to period, etc. So you start learning those items as you begin to go through these, and freehold and non-freehold is definitely something that you want to practice for your exam. Question number 3. A state highway is being expanded and will require creating a new on-ramp. The Department of Transportation has determined that approximately 100 square feet in the rear corner of a private property owner's land is needed. The property owner has refused the state's offer to purchase, and the state has now initiated legal proceedings to acquire the land. Which term most accurately describes this specific legal action by the state? Letter A, eminent domain. Letter B, highest and best use. Letter C, subordination. Letter D, condemnation. And the answer is letter D, condemnation. Okay, so definitely you will need to know the difference between eminent domain and condemnation. Now, a lot of students might have picked eminent domain, but eminent domain is the right. It's not the process, and it's not the power. It's the right of government to be able to take the property. Now, the actual process of taking it is, or initiating a specific legal action, as this particular question was framed, is condemnation. And you need to know the distinction between eminent domain and condemnation. I promise you, these are things that you tend to see on exams. And you want to read it because it's subtle. And again, I didn't write this particular question, but I've seen questions in many different books and many different publications all around the place where they're really splitting hairs about the difference between condemnation and eminent domain. So remember here, which term most accurately describes this specific legal action being taken by the state? And that answer is condemnation. Question number 4. What is the primary purpose of the statute of frauds in real estate contracts? Letter A, to prevent disputes arising from oral agreements. Letter B, to require all contracts to be in writing. Letter C, to ensure contracts are fair and equitable. Letter D, to promote transparency in contract negotiations. And the answer is letter A, to prevent disputes arising from oral agreements. So really, the prime driver, the reason why the statute of frauds was enacted, is to eliminate the problems that we create by having oral contracts. So the idea here is about statute of frauds and couple that with oral contracts. And once you start to look at those two things, then you'll start to see that that's really the prime driver as to why the statute of frauds exists. It doesn't really require that every single contract be in writing. So as many may know, certain contracts don't need to be in writing and certain contracts do. For example, the purchase of real estate needs to be in writing in order to be enforceable by the courts. But there are many oral contracts that we enter into all the time. So not every contract needs to be in writing per the statute of frauds, but the reason why we have a statute of frauds is to prevent disputes arising from oral agreements. Question number 5. Lucy and Frank are considering purchasing a property together. They want to ensure that if one of them passes away, the other automatically inherits the deceased's share. Which type of ownership arrangement should they choose? Letter A, tenancy in common. Letter B, property ownership held in trust. Letter C, common interest ownership. Letter D, joint tenancy. And the answer is letter D, joint tenancy. Okay, so joint tenancies have the right of survivorship. And what they wanted here in this particular question, they wanted to ensure that if one of them passes away, the other automatically inherits the deceased's share. So what that means is I want to have, if I were Frank or Lucy, this right of survivorship. Now, a tenancy in common has no right of survivorship. So if they were just two co-owners and they wanted their respective shares to go to their respective estates upon passing, then they could choose tenancy in common. And now, a couple of other fine points here. Property ownership held in trust. There wasn't enough information, and quite honestly, trusts might be the way to go if it's two partners that are jumping into something, but there's not enough information, so don't try to become like the legal party here trying to interpret what could work. Yes, a group of people could own property, hold it in trust. That's fine. Common interest ownership, no such thing. I wouldn't worry about that. Letter C, skip it. And then letter A, that one has no right of survivorship. Now, something of critical importance on questions like this for real estate brokerage examinations. Never, ever forget that the real estate agent is not authorized to practice law. So what they love to do is paint scenarios like this on exams, and then they say, you know, what they're asking you for advice. So let's say it's the question was Lucy and Frank are asking their agent for advice on what form of co-ownership to take. They're looking, if one of them passes away, then the other automatically inherits the deceased's share. So if they're asking it to like that, then the go-to answer will be have them talk to their attorney. It's a classic style question that you often see, and I've seen it in many, many publications all over the place. So look out for the unauthorized practice of law. Make sure you don't fall for it, because many times they'll give you the correct answer legally, but they don't want you to take it. They want you to, the agent, to refer them to their attorney. Okay, so be on the lookout for those. That was question number 5. Good question. We'll see you in the next one. Question number 6. A modification made to the estimated value of a property, accounting for various factors that affect its worth, such as upgrades, market conditions, and comparable sales data, in order to arrive at a more accurate appraisal value, is called an letter A, assessment, letter B, adjustment, letter C, cap rate, letter D, balance. And the answer is letter B, an adjustment. Okay, so appraisers make adjustments when they're either up or down to valuation, and that's to get to a better and more accurate appraised value. Never forget that all an appraisal is an opinion of market value based on that specific day. So an appraiser is also rendering an opinion of value. Real estate brokers and salespersons cannot do appraisals or perform appraisal services. They can do CMAs, or competitive or comparative market analysis, and brokers can also do things called broker price opinions, both of which are not appraisals, both of which and all of which, appraisals included, are just opinions of value. And that's what adjustments are. They're just adjusting either up or down, things like upgrades, market conditions, comparable sales data, up, et cetera, to be able to determine a more accurate and fair opinion of value. Question number 7. Which land use control involves the government's ability to enforce regulations to ensure land is used in a way that promotes public welfare and safety? Letter A, eminent domain. Letter B, taxation. Letter C, police powers. Letter D, escheat. And the answer is letter C, police power. Okay, the government's right to police the areas, the land, comprehensive planning, zoning ordinances, these types of things, master planning, institutional master planning, etc. All of these things fall under the government's ability of policing power. Okay, so that is the government's ability of policing power. And remember, all of these are some sort of government power. So there's police power, eminent domain, taxation, and escheat. So under policing power sits things like zoning regulations, ordinances, housing inspectors, inspectional services, all of these different things. And it absolutely gives the government the right to control or to be involved in the enforcement of regulations to ensure that land is used in a way so that it benefits we all, public welfare, and safety. Question number 8. What will generally happen to the price of existing homes if a neighborhood has a growing demand for single-family housing, but the land available for new construction is running low? Letter A, the prices will increase. Letter B, the prices will decrease. Letter C, the prices will remain the same. Letter D, the prices will fluctuate unpredictably. And the answer is letter A, prices will increase. A basic economic question of supply and demand. You will probably see things like this on real estate exams, I would suspect. Look out for them. They're pretty easy, these correlations. Just don't get it twisted. Read the question very carefully so you don't get confused. And that many times helps a lot. So just understand what's going on with that, and then you should be good to go. But in this particular scenario, and again, it says what will generally happen. Could there be exceptions to the rule? Absolutely. So don't read into the exceptions to the rule. Look at the words like generally speaking, and then make your decision based off of those phrases. Good luck. We'll see you in the next one. Question number 9. A clause in a mortgage contract that gives a lender the right to demand the entire loan balance to be paid in full immediately due to the borrower's default or violation of loan terms is letter A, a balloon payment clause. Letter B, an alienation clause. Letter C, an acceleration clause. Letter D, a habendum clause. And the answer is letter C, an acceleration clause. Okay, some of the most popular types of clauses that you see. Acceleration is definitely on real estate exams. I'm telling you, you're going to see it. So you want to know acceleration clause. You also want to know what an alienation clause is. Letter B here. In alienation, the word alienation means to transfer. That's a transfer clause, and that's very popular as well. A habendum clause is a language that's in the deed, and it's the have and to hold statement that comes in a deed. So there's habendum, redendum, and tenendum. Look it up in your book. It's confusing a little bit, but just study through those and you'll understand. Habendum being the most popular one, but definitely acceleration clause and definitely alienation clause. This is a good one, and we'll see you in the next one. Question number 10. Marguerite is looking for a financing option where she can borrow against her home's equity as needed with variable interest rates similar to a credit card. What should she consider? Letter A, construction loan. Letter B, bridge loan. Letter C, home equity loan. Letter D, home equity line of credit. And the answer is letter D, a home equity line of credit. Okay, all of these are definitely things you're going to see on the financing sections of your exams. Mortgage finance, these different types of things, different types of loans, different characteristics. What is a construction loan? Withdrawal schedules. What's a bridge loan? A temporary financing, home equity loan versus a home equity line of credit. So HELOC is very popular. This is classic. It operates just like a credit card, but it's connected to your home, and that's what they're being described here in this particular question. So good question. We'll see in the next one. Question number 11. In order to be valid, all listing agreements must have letter A, the principal broker's signature. Letter B, an expiration date. Letter C, a renewal date. Letter D, the seller's permission for the property to be listed in the local MLS. And the answer is letter B, an expiration date. Okay, so listing agreements need to have an expiration date. Even an open listing will have some sort of an expiry date. So in order to be valid, listing agreements must have an expiration date. This is a good one, a simple one. This is something you want to know with contracts, especially listing agreements. You'll find it in your contract sections. Double check the stuff there and you should be good to go. See you in the next one. Question number 12. Which option best describes an exclusive right to sell listing? Letter A, the listing agent will be paid a commission unless the seller finds their own buyer. Letter B, the listing agent will be paid a commission no matter what. Letter C, the listing agent will be paid a commission no matter who procures the buyer. Letter D, the listing agent will be paid a commission only if they procure the buyer. And the answer is letter C, the listing agent will be paid a commission no matter who procures the buyer. Okay, so an exclusive listing agreement means it includes the seller. So many times these exclusive right to sell listings includes or is inclusive of the seller if the seller were to find their own buyer on their own once they sign this agreement. So the exclusive right to sell. Now, compare that to the exclusive agency listing agreement, and that means that the seller can procure their own buyer and the agency wouldn't not get paid. But if any other agency is involved, then the exclusive agency gets paid. So you want to know the difference between an exclusive right to sell versus an exclusive agency agreement. Those are two distinctions you want to make. You also want to know the differences between what is a net listing, for example, what is an open listing, and then the buyer's agency agreements as well. Question number 13. Which approach is most suitable for estimating the value of unique or specialized properties? Letter A, cost approach. Letter B, sales comparison approach. Letter C, comparative market analysis. Letter D, income analysis approach. And the answer is letter A, the cost approach. Okay, this is a straight up simple definition of what is this thing style question. And it's all about appraisers and appraisals. And you want to make sure you study that section. It is a very tested section, by the way. So you want to definitely brush up on your appraisal sections and valuation sections. Now with these are the fundamentals. Now there are three: the cost approach, which is this defined. Then there's the sales comparison approach, and then there is the income analysis approach. Now, the sales comparison approach is sometimes also referred to as the market data approach. So sometimes, depending on where you are, they might refer to it as the market data approach. The comparative market analysis has nothing to do with the three approaches or methodologies that an appraiser is going to use to determine value, their opinion of value. A real estate professional, broker, or salesperson is going to use the comparative market analysis. Okay, so when we're looking for unique assets and we're trying to figure out what something unique is worth, then we will use the cost approach, and it is the classic definition. Good question. See you in the next one. Question number 14. Which of the following fiduciary duties are owed by a real estate agent to their principal rather than to a customer? Letter A, accounting and honesty. Letter B, disclosure and integrity. Letter C, loyalty and obedience. Letter D, fairness and accounting. And the answer is letter C, loyalty and obedience. Okay, you definitely want to know all of the fiduciary duties. And in some books, you'll learn it as old car. And in some books, you'll learn it as cold AC. Basically, it all boils down to fiduciary duties equals care, obedience, loyalty, disclosure, accounting, and confidentiality. So we want to know that the fiduciary duties are owed to the principal. The principal is also referred to as the client. The customer is owed something a little bit different: professionalism and honesty and a duty of reasonable care. And you'll learn these in the agency sections of your textbooks. Good luck with your studies. This was a good one, classic, and we'll see you in the next one. Question number 15. Which of the following is the least likely to be considered a material fact? A roof that leaked during a storm one time but hasn't since. Letter B, if the seller knows that a condo complex will be replacing the wooded lot behind the property. Letter C, that the current owner bought the house knowing it is believed to be haunted. Letter D, an outdated electrical system that the seller does not want to replace. And the answer? Letter C, the current owner bought the house knowing that it's believed to be haunted. Everything else, by the way, here, and this is a great question, this is well written in the sense that it really wants you to understand what is the difference between a material fact and something that's not a material fact of information or a material defect. By the way, they could also play that game. No matter what, haunted houses across the country, you want to know, are considered or classified under something called psychologically impacted property conditions. And these are things that you do not have to disclose in many of the states. Check your states. But many states, you don't have to even worry about it because it's a legend versus actual fact or factually provable. So the knowing that a house is believed to be haunted is going to be the least likely considered to be a material fact. The roof leaking even one time is a good question, is a good answer, and that's a good one that you see many times. Yes, the answer is we absolutely still have to disclose that no matter what, because it could be material in nature. That one time could have caused problems, right? So we want to make sure that if we know about it, we have to disclose that. That would be. And then the other ones are fairly important, and I would consider those to be pretty clear-cut material facts. So really here, you want to read through these answers and figure out which one is least likely to be considered that material fact. Great question. Be careful about things like least likely, most likely. Be careful about how the question is written, and we'll see you in the next one. Question number 16. Which type of deed offers the highest level of protection to the grantee and includes warranties or guarantees from the grantor of clear title and the absence of encumbrances? Letter A, quitclaim deed. Letter B, special warranty deed. Letter C, bargain and sale deed. Letter D, general warranty deed. And the answer is Letter D, general warranty deed. Okay, you're definitely going to want to know the different deeds that you want and study them. And the two main types of deeds that you'll learn as you're studying is a general warranty deed and a special warranty deed. Those are the two general deeds of conveyancing, even though many states call things different things. Those two deeds and the powers that they convey are going to be the items that you typically see everywhere. Okay. Now, some states will call it different things, but for the most part, the powers contained in these deeds is what's pretty consistent. Now, the general warranty deed offers the highest level of protection to the grantee. So as the question here says, which type of deed offers the highest level of protection? They're even taking that right from the definition to the grantee. You have to get also sorted who is the grantee and who is the grantor. Remember, grantee is the buyer, grantor is the seller. Okay, just remember that. Then, which one gives them clear title and the absence of encumbrances. The word encumbrance is, burdens on the land. So an example of an encumbrance would be a lien, for example. That's a monetary encumbrance. Okay, so which type of deed basically is the highest level of protection to the buyer is what they're saying. And sometimes it will be helpful if students can substitute words, like instead of grantee and getting confused, just write in, or in your mind, write in buyer. So you kind of understand, what's happening with the question. And the answer here all day is the general warranty deed. Question number 17. If a salesperson is acting as the sub-agent to a listing broker, then the salesperson is, letter A, the agent of the broker only. Letter B, the agent of the seller only. Letter C, the agent of the broker and the agent of the seller. Letter D, neither the agent of the broker nor the agent of the seller. And the answer? Letter C, the agent of the broker and the agent of the seller. So this is an agency question, and sub-agency is something that we want to know the definition of. Is a sub-agent, you're an agent underneath another agent. So an agent underneath another agent is you are an agent underneath the broker. So if the broker were the agent, then the salesperson is the sub-agent. And a sub-agent also, as we get into a listing contract with a a seller, then what's going to end up happening is that you also become the agent of the seller. Okay, so that's what's happening in this. Sub-agency is an important definition that you want to study. A vocab phrase, look into it, be careful, check out some more sub-agency style questions. I know we have them on our channel, and also check them out in your books, etc. You're going to see that, and oftentimes sub-agency can confuse a lot of students because it's something that's, it's a little bit more obtuse to understand than it is the traditional buyer's agent and seller's agent, etc. Good luck with your exams, and we'll see you in the next one. Question number 18. What is the term used to describe the legal practice of refusing to lend or insure in certain neighborhoods based on race or ethnicity? Letter A, steering. Letter B, blockbusting. Letter C, redlining. Letter D, market allocation. And the answer is letter C, redlining. Absolutely on exams. Blockbusting, steering, redlining. You want to know the definition of all of those. Market allocation, it deals with the Sherman Antitrust Act. And so that is a thing. So all of these four items happen to be things that are legit things that you need to study. But the three that are anti-discriminatory are steering, blockbusting, and redlining. You want to know the definitions forwards, backwards, front, behind, the whole thing for these phrases. I guarantee these will be on your exams. Question number 19. Which of the following is not one of the protected classes under the Federal Fair Housing Act? Letter A, religion. Letter B, disability. Letter C, age. Letter D, national origin. And the answer is letter C, age. You definitely want to know the protected classes for two laws, the Federal Fair Housing Act and your State Fair Housing Act. They will want you to know the differences, by the way. And the Equal Credit Opportunity Act on the federal level, you want to know those protected classes as well. So this is a case of memorization. We have to memorize these protected classes. And for the Federal Fair Housing Act, for example, there's 7: race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, and disability. Age is not one of the protected classes on the federal level for the Fair Housing Act, but many states do include age in their state fair housing laws. So the state laws can be the bare minimum of what the federal law is, or it can be substantially more comprehensive to protect its citizenry, right? So like the idea there is these anti-discrimination laws are going to be different throughout, but you want to know the difference between the federal fair housing and the state fair housing, and you also want to know the difference and similarities between the Equal Credit Opportunity Act and the Federal Fair Housing Act. Question number 20. 2 of the top real estate brokers from different firms meet to discuss their local market. During the conversation, they agree that they both will charge a 6% commission rate for all future listings to ensure that they won't be undercut by discount brokerages in the area. What illegal activity are the brokers engaging in? Letter A, price fixing. Letter B, market allocation. Letter C, blockbusting. Letter D, group boycotting. And the answer is letter A, price fixing. Okay, these are Sherman antitrust style questions. All of these items in the answer key are things, again, like the previous question with the anti-discrimination swing. This one is swinging the other way towards the Sherman Antitrust Act. All right, so antitrust violations. So price fixing, market allocation, and group boycotting are 3 violations of the Sherman Antitrust Act. Check those out. You will typically find antitrust in brokerage, in the brokerage chapters of your books. Brokerage is subject to antitrust laws. And what they're doing here is kind of textbook. And the other thing that I wanted to point out here, the answer is price fixing. Reread it and you'll see why. But you want to know that inside of these, they will sometimes give you these long-winded interrogatories, as you've seen through some of these questions in this 20 questions. And you have the long-winded answers. So you definitely want to make sure you're reading this stuff and being careful. Look out for the deception. The deception is definitely there. And make sure that you take your time with these types of questions. Okay, that was 20 questions. Hope you found them helpful. Thank you all very much for checking us out, and thank you for subscribing to our channel if you have. If you haven't, please consider doing so. It would mean the world to us. Please reach out to us, have some questions, ask away, and we'll be happy to accommodate. If you ask a question and it seems like we can make a video about it to help other folks, we will absolutely do that. We've done that in the past. I really appreciate all the time that you guys are putting into studying for this. The license is worth it. You guys are worth it. Good luck with your studies and good luck on your exams.